Letter from an 85-year-old widow. My child-free experience and a few humble opinions. Personal. Dear young people, I wonder if I'm the oldest person to post this on this forum. It was a young lady who told me about this forum, and I've read many of your posts and comments for a few weeks. Many have made me smile, some have made me wince. It appears to me, many of you are here to validate your life-changing decision. Finding people similar to you is important, and I understand the need. So can I just say, from my experience, your decision is a good one. And if you want to know why I think that, please give me 5 minutes of your time. I was married for just over 50 years. We bucked the norm and did not want kids. In those days, we said, we are trying for a few years, and then, we cannot have kids, case closed. It was our personal secret. It was nobody's business. If we were honest and said we cannot have kids because we just don't want them, the fallout with family and friends would have been tough for us. Our 50 years in a nutshell was perfect. Good jobs, no money worries, followed our interests and hobbies. He had many friends and many lovely nieces and nephews. If I could go back in time, would I do it again? Being child-free? 100% yes. I would live the same life 1,000 times. I know and have known many people. This is my humble observation. Group A, they have kids, have a great life, and all is perfect. I know many, so it can happen and does happen. Group B, they have kids, it's a hard life, and they have problems. Many wish they could have a child-free do-over. Group C, they have kids, all is good, but then the empty nest and dwindling contact breaks their hearts. Group D, the child-free group. I only know a few. I cannot give breakdowns and percentages for all the groups. The bottom line, in my experience, Group D is always the happiest and most content. Of course, there are many happy people from Group A too. My husband died 10 years ago. I mourned him and still miss him every day. But being child-free means this. My life was never defined by kids. I had such a strong network of friends and so many hobbies. I was able to move forward. Life goes on, and I have a full and happy life and a new partner. My friends who have lost their partner, who have kids, their common problems is their kids don't give them enough time. It upsets and hurts them. They are too reliant on them. They expect payback for all the time and money they spent on them. Their interests and hobbies are sometimes non-existent because everything is or was about their kids and grandkids. One friend said this, which I never forgot. The empty nest thing is real. It is like being dumped by the love of your life after 2 or 3 decades, but staying friends. It is never the same. I now have a private apartment in a rest home. Lovely friends, full busy days, and lovely staff. One being the young lady who has asked me many questions about being child-free and told me about this forum. Good luck to you all. Second post or addendum? Reading posts for weeks was easy. Opening an account and posting for the first time tested my limited technical skills. Logged back on and seeing all those messages is now totally overwhelming. I have read a few and will try to respond to those who have asked a direct question. It might just take me a while. To everyone else, sorry, it will have to be a big blanket thank you. Thank you for all the wonderful rebuke to all those, but who will take care of you when you're older? Bingos, some of us have to endure. My rebuke is always, my piles of money I don't have to waste on kids. But then they respond with, well, if everyone did the same thing, there will be no one for you to pay to take care of you. Like, yeah, no crap. It's that whole everyone make the choice that's right for them and it'll work out just fine thing. I have absolutely nothing against people who choose to have kids. Just don't tell me I'm wrong for not wanting them. And yeah, humans are dying out. Where? Exactly. She may be 85, but she sounds young. I love her. Lots of older folks are still with it if you give them the time to hear them out. That's true, as I have interviewed older folks in the community before our newspaper. It is to be especially true of child-free folks. I think this is because you never have to downstep your cognitive function to be around kids 24/7. This is also why I believe many parents get annoyed with their kids and love going to work. Interesting hypothesis, the downstep part. Now I want to go back and get another graduate degree to study this. Seriously, thank you. I love it when someone changes the way I look at the world. The empty nest thing is real. I've had many older individuals or mothers come to our crisis team upset because their family won't speak to them or their children can't make it home for the holiday. It is very painful to see and difficult to address in a way that won't cause them to become defensive. How do you address it? I've had issues with this from my mother, who is amazing and who I dearly love. I never know what to say, especially when the reasons I can't see her more or be there for a specific holiday are completely out of my control. Usually it's validating her feelings by reminding them that they can be the solution and can only control their own actions. Usually, I just promote the idea of them being their own person and developing new hobbies and traditions while also maintaining their love for their child. I also remind them that this may be temporary. Relationships have ebbs and flows. In a couple of years, their child might have more time or have different priorities. I wish we better prepared parents for the reality of their child growing up. The kind of bonds you form with a child are the same ones you form with your parents and partners, but they go from being dependent on you to being independent if you've done your job well. It is like being broken up with and staying friends quite literally on a chemical level. So that's a very apt analogy in the original post. My partner struggles with a parent who was never able to reframe their relationship. There are a lot of comments that from my perspective amount to, how could you have kidnapped my child? In a way, that's true from the parent's perspective, but it's a shame that the eventuality of someone growing up and becoming their own person is so ill-prepared for. The mental health community could do more to talk about this reality. Parents need to think about reevaluating their relationship with their children in their teenage years, and we should be helping them to prepare for that. I think part of the problem is that parents don't usually seek counseling for this issue. There's still the stigma around mental health, so people view it as, if I'm broken or sick, then I go, instead of how I view it, where this is a major life change and maybe I need some extra support. If we can get people to see for everyone, then the mental health community could prepare people better. Believe me, I am all for proactive mental health care. Wouldn't it be lovely if we viewed mental health the way we did physical health, and people could go for regular checkups, and also when major life events happen, going to college for kids and parents, getting divorced or married, having children, getting or losing a job, etc., let alone more coverage for more traumatic events? Thank you for this. It's nice to know that there are people who have disapproved the "you'll be lonely when you're old" line of nonsense. I watched my mom have kids way too early, and it completely destroyed her prospects, leading to a poor and unstable childhood for all of us. I don't feel particularly bad about not having kids myself, and instead focus on building a social life for myself so that I don't have to go through any of that again. I'm 23, and people occasionally ask me when I'm having kids, despite my honesty from childhood in telling them that I don't ever want children. Yuck. I feel lucky to have a loving partner who feels the same. I'm so glad you got to have those years with your husband. I'm sorry he's no longer with you, but I'm happy to hear that you've built yourself back up and are still enjoying life. You're wonderful. Thanks for your insight. Very interesting. That empty nest quote? Gosh. Last Thursday in the waiting room of the surgeon's office, while my husband was getting his vasectomy, I met a lovely older lady who I aspire to be when I'm older. She was in her 70s, had traveled the world, ridden elephants and camels, had seen all these exotic places, looked so much younger than she was, and was just happy. She radiated it. She was talking to a younger couple that was holding an elephant about how she had never had children, had never changed a diaper, never stayed up all night with a sick or crying child. They couldn't believe it, kept asking if she regretted it, and every time she answered with a firm no. They acted like she was lying, but it was obvious she wasn't. I live in the rural South, so meeting a child-free person is rare. Meeting a child-free woman at her age is like finding a unicorn. It's so nice to hear from people who have lived a full, long, child-free life. It makes me feel so much better about my choices. Had you said a child-free woman in her 90s, I would have assumed you were talking to my great aunt. She's in the rural South and has traveled a lot, and always says that staying single was the right choice. I misread great aunt as great gran and got confused at how a child-free woman can have a great grandchild.